On Sunday morning, October 27th, 2024, my son called to tell me he was getting married the next day. I'm Garrett Phillips, 58 years old, and I've been a widower for 3 years. When Tyler said he'd withdrawn all my money and sold my house, I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I laughed out loud, a sound that surprised even me. What my son didn't know was that the house he just sold for $285,000 wasn't the house I actually lived in. My name is Garrett Allen Phillips, born March 15, 1966 in Toledo, Ohio. For 28 years, I was husband to Linda Marie Phillips, father to Tyler Allen Phillips. Then on January 8, 2021, Linda died from pancreatic cancer. She was 54. I was 55. Tyler was 30 years old and already making his own way in the world, or so I thought. People see a quiet, retired construction manager who works part-time at Home Depot, helping customers with project estimates. They see someone reserved, perhaps lonely since his wife died, certainly harmless. What they don't see is that I spent 20 years in the Navy before my construction career. I know how to read contracts. I understand property law from managing military housing projects. I can spot fraud from a mile away because I helped investigate it for 6 years in the Navy's Construction Oversight Division. I left active duty when Tyler was born, used my GI benefits for my construction management degree, then worked my way up to senior project manager at Morrison Construction in Columbus. But I never forgot what the Navy taught me. Never lost the habit of keeping detailed records, understanding that proper documentation can save your life, or in civilian terms, save your assets. 3 months before that Sunday phone call, Tyler started asking about my finances. July 28th, the day after his birthday. "Dad, I've been thinking," he said over coffee at my kitchen table on Maple Street. "You're living alone now, and I worry about you managing all these bills. What if you forgot to pay something important? Let me help you set up automatic payments." "I'm 58, Tyler, not 88, I told him. "I managed million-dollar construction budgets for 15 years. "I know, but humor me. Mom would have wanted me to look after you." That line got me. Linda always worried about me being too independent, too stubborn to ask for help when I needed it. So I gave Tyler access to my main checking account, the one with about $3,500 for monthly expenses. Not my savings account with $180,000 from selling the family home after Linda died. Just the checking. "Thanks, Dad. This really helps me worry less," Tyler said, giving me that smile that reminded me so much of his mother. 6 weeks later, September 12th, Tyler brought his girlfriend to dinner. Brittany Coleman, 29 years old, with the kind of sharp beauty that made me think of salespeople who push extended warranties. We sat in my dining room at 1157 Oak Street. I made my famous chili, Linda's recipe. Brittany picked at her food, her blue eyes constantly scanning the room. "This is a lovely home, Garrett," she said, not asking permission to use my first name. "Houses in this neighborhood must be worth, what, $400,000? "I haven't had it appraised recently," I said, uncomfortable with the topic. Tyler laughed. Brittany's interested in real estate, always looking at property values. Later, washing dishes, I heard Brittany on her phone in the living room. "My house has good acoustics, something you learn when you're raising a teenager." "Yeah, he's got money. The house alone is worth at least $450,000. Tyler says he has savings too. He never remarried, so it's all going to Tyler eventually anyway." I froze, hands in soapy water, listening to her discuss my death and assets as if I were already in the ground. Tyler must have heard too. "Brittany, keep your voice down." "Sorry, babe," she said, not sounding sorry at all. A warning bell went off in my head, but I dismissed it. Young people talked about money differently these days. It didn't necessarily mean anything sinister. 2 weeks later, September 26th, Tyler emailed me. "Important documents, please sign ASAP." The subject line read like a work order. "Hi, Dad," the email said. "I'm attaching some routine insurance and banking forms. Can you print, sign, and send back?" Nothing major, just updating your beneficiary info. I opened the attachments. 4 PDFs, 12 pages each, dense with legal language. My construction experience kicked in, but the font was small, deliberately confusing. Then I remembered. I'd been sick the week before. Pneumonia, 4 days in Columbus Memorial Hospital, September 20th through 24th. Fever spiking to 103 degrees. I called Tyler. "Did you bring me papers to sign in the hospital?" A pause. "Just insurance forms, Dad." "You signed them on the 22nd. I brought a notary." "You don't remember? Your fever was really high." After we hung up, I tried to remember September 22nd, vague impressions of voices, of holding a pen, of signing something. But the memories were hazy, unreliable. I should have called a lawyer right then, but he was my son. Surely I could trust him. That was my first real mistake, October 27th, 7:15 a.m. I sat at my kitchen table with coffee and laptop checking my accounts. My Sunday morning routine since Linda died. The page loaded slowly. Checking account, $420. Savings account, $2,100. My savings had held $180 and $316 on October 20th. The transaction history showed October 23rd, $75,000 to Tyler A. Phillips, October 24th. $50,000 to Tyler A. Phillips, October 25th, $53,216 to Tyler A. Phillips, 3 transfers over 3 days, leaving just enough to keep the account open. My checking account showed another $200 transferred to Tyler on October 26th. I couldn't breathe, then my phone rang. Tyler's name on the screen. "Hey Dad, great news. I'm getting married tomorrow. Brittany and I decided not to wait. Small ceremony at the Riverside Country Club." My throat tightened. "Tyler, my bank accounts owe that." "Yeah, I needed the money for the wedding and our condo down payment." "You'll be fine on Social Security and your pension, right? You took 101 to the $8,000. "Dad, technically I had authorization. Those papers you signed gave me power of attorney. You approved the transfers. I was delirious with fever." "That's not how the bank sees it." His voice hardened. "Look, I'm your son. Everything you have comes to me eventually anyway. I just needed it sooner. Brittany and I are building our future." "What about the house?" "Oh, right. I sold it yesterday. 1247 Oak Street, $285,000. Great price in this market. The buyers take possession in 30 days, so you need to be out by November 26th. Maybe look into one of those senior living communities." "Tyler," my voice cut through his rambling, "I don't live at 12047 Oak Street." A pause. "What?" "That's my rental property. The Martinez family lives there. They have 14 months left on their lease." Silence. "Then, your rental property?" "The house I live in is 856 Maple Drive. It's in a family trust Linda and I set up." More silence. When Tyler spoke, his voice was uncertain, afraid. "But you never told me about any trust." "No, I never did." That's when I laughed. It started small but grew bubbling up from somewhere deep inside. I laughed until tears rolled down my cheeks. "Dad, what's so funny?" I wiped my eyes. "Tyler, do you have any idea what you've just done?" "I sold your rental property." "So what?" "You sold property you don't own, with tenants who have a valid lease, using fraudulent documents obtained by exploiting your sick father. That's theft, fraud, and breach of contract. 3 felonies. Dad, don't be dramatic. I'm your son. Have a nice wedding, Tyler. Enjoy it. It's going to be the last happy day you have for a very long time." I hung up. Underneath the shock and pain, I started planning. Tyler thought I was helpless. He had no idea who he was dealing with. I went to my filing cabinet and pulled out the folder marked properties. Inside were deeds to 2 houses. 856 Maple Drive in the Phillips Family Trust, and 1247 Oak Street in my name, Garrett Allen Phillips. Next came the lease agreement. Carlos and Maria Martinez had moved in June 2022. Current lease ran from June 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2026. Monthly rent, $1,800. Tyler had sold a house with sitting tenants without disclosing the lease. When those buyers discovered the occupied property, they'd sue him for fraud. I opened my laptop and started a new document. Timeline of financial abuse and fraud, Tyler Allen Phillips. Then I began documenting everything with military precision. By Monday morning, October 28th, I had a plan. 9 a.m. called First National Credit Union. I need to report unauthorized transfers. I told Jennifer, the fraud specialist. Complete records of all transactions for 6 months, please. I'm so sorry, Mr. Phillips. We'll investigate immediately. The power of attorney documents used for these transfers, you'll have copies within 3 business days. 10 a.m. called Logan Anderson, a lawyer from my VFW post. "Logan, my son stole my retirement savings and fraudulently sold my property. I need legal representation." Pause. "How much are we talking about, Garrett?" $178,000 in theft, $285,000 in fraudulent sale proceeds. "Jesus, yes, I'll help you." My office at 2 p.m., 11 a.m., called Carlos Martinez at 1247 Oak Street. "Carlos, I need to tell you something that's going to upset you. My son sold your house without my permission using fraudulent documents." Silence. "He what?" I explained calmly. Carlos's voice was tight with anger when he spoke again. "Some stranger thinks they bought our house. Your lease is valid and binding. You're protected. But I wanted you to know immediately so you wouldn't be blindsided. I may need you to provide witness statements. Whatever you need, Mr. Phillips. Whatever you need." 1 p.m. called Brooke Wilson, my closest friend since Linda's funeral. "Brooke, can you come over? I need to tell you something on my way." At 2 p.m., I sat in Logan Anderson's office on 3rd Street. The waiting room smelled like old coffee and legal documents. Logan's secretary led me into his office, where law books lined the walls and diplomas hung behind his mahogany desk. He listened to my story without interrupting, taking notes in a legal pad. When I finished, he removed his reading glasses. "Garrett, your son has committed multiple felonies. Grand theft, fraud, forgery. This isn't civil court, this is criminal. He could face 3 to 7 years in state prison." "I know. Are you sure about this?" "He's your son. I met his eyes. He stole my life savings and tried to make me homeless." "What kind of son does that?" Logan pulled out a fresh legal pad. "First, we file fraud reports with the bank and credit union. You've started that. Second, contact the title company that handled the sale. Third, file a police report. You can request investigation before pressing charges if you want to give him a chance to make this right." "What about the buyers of the house?" "They'll sue Tyler for fraud when they discover the tenant situation. He'll be liable for the full purchase price, plus damages, legal fees, and emotional distress." "Good." I thought about Tyler's casual voice on the phone, so certain I wouldn't fight back. "I want justice, Logan. I want every penny back, and I want him to understand that betrayal has consequences. Then let's build an ironclad case." We spent 3 hours preparing documents. Logan's office had that quiet efficiency I remembered from my Navy days, everything organized, every detail accounted for. By the time I left, I'd filed preliminary fraud claims with my credit union and contacted Pinnacle Title Company. The police report would be filed October 29th. My phone buzzed as I walked to my truck in the parking garage. "Tyler." "Dad, why is the bank calling about fraud? What's going on?" "The bank flagged the withdrawals as suspicious standard procedure when large amounts move quickly, but I'm your son. Tell them it's fine." "Is it fine, Tyler? You took $178,000 without asking. I had your permission. I borrowed it. We'll pay you back." I stared at the word borrowed as if it had been written in a foreign language. You can't borrow without asking first. I didn't respond. That evening, Brooke came over with wine and moral support. We sat in my kitchen while October darkness settled outside the windows. I told her everything. Her expression shifted from shock to fury to something like admiration. "That absolute bastard," she said. "Garrett, I'm here for whatever you need. Can you help me organize my documentation? Bank statements, lease agreements, property deeds. I need everything categorized and copied. Consider it done." We worked until midnight spreading papers across my dining room table like battle plans. For the first time since that terrible call, I felt something other than betrayal. I felt determination. "You know what the worst part is?" I said quietly. "Not the money, not even the house. It's that he thought I was too stupid or weak to fight back." Brooke squeezed my hand. "He's about to learn his father is neither stupid nor weak." That night, Tyler texted, "Dad, please come to the wedding tomorrow. I want you there. Let's not fight over money." I stared at the message for a long time, then typed, "I'll be there." Let him think everything was fine. Let him marry his calculating bride and celebrate with my stolen money. Let him believe he'd gotten away with it. I would smile, I would take photos, I would play the proud father. And then when he least expected it, I would show him exactly what happened when you betrayed a Navy veteran who'd spent 20 years learning that proper preparation prevents poor performance. October 28, 2024. The wedding was exactly what I expected. Expensive, showy, and paid for entirely with my stolen money. Riverside Country Club glittered with white roses and crystal. I arrived at 2 p.m. wearing my navy blazer, the one Linda always said made me look distinguished. The ballroom was enormous, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the golf course. Round tables draped in white linen filled the space, each centerpiece probably costing more than most people spent on groceries in a month. Brittany looked stunning in a designer gown that probably cost $8,000. My $8,000 to Enterio beaming like he didn't have a care in the world. When he saw me, he rushed over. "Dad, you came. I knew you'd understand. This is a fresh start for all of us." I pulled back, studying his face. Did he really believe that? "Congratulations, Tyler. You look very happy." The ceremony was brief. I sat in the front row, watching my son promise to love and cherish this woman who'd helped him betray his own father. Around me, 87 guests, I counted, laughed and dabbed at tears. Brittany's parents sat across the aisle, looking pleased but not particularly warm toward me. During the reception, I made polite conversation with strangers, drank champagne I couldn't taste, and took photos I'd never want to see again. The room buzzed with chatter about the beautiful ceremony, the elegant venue, the happy couple. If they only knew, just as they cut the cake, my phone buzzed. A text from Logan Anderson. Police investigation opened. Fraud charges being prepared. Title company confirms notary seal was fraudulent. Notary was in Florida on September 22nd, not Ohio Hospital. We have him. I looked at Tyler laughing with his groomsmen, completely oblivious. Not yet, I thought. Let him enjoy this moment. It would be his last happy one for a very long time. October 31st, Halloween. How fitting. Tyler and Brittany appeared at my door at 856 Maple Drive, unannounced. Tyler looked furious. Brittany's expression was cold calculation. What the hell did you do? Tyler demanded, pushing past me into my living room. The title company froze the money from the house sale. They're saying the power of attorney was forged. They're threatening criminal charges. I closed the door calmly. Perhaps because it was forged. You signed those papers. I was there. I signed blank papers while delirious with a 103-degree fever. You took advantage of your dying father. Brittany stepped forward. This is ridiculous, Garrett. You're getting old. You can't manage your finances anymore. We were helping you by stealing $109 and it's by Her mask slipped, revealing cold opportunism beneath. Tyler is your son. Everything you have should go to him eventually anyway. We just needed it now. I kept my voice steady. So this was your plan? Find a man with a wealthy parent, manipulate him into stealing from his father, then build your life on that money? Tyler's face flushed. Don't talk about Brittany like that. She loves me, she loves your inheritance, I corrected, or what she thought was your inheritance. Brittany laughed, harsh and ugly. You think you're so smart? Drop these accusations or we'll make your life hell. We'll tell everyone you have dementia. We'll have you declared incompetent. We'll put you in a nursing home. Is that a threat? It's a promise, Tyler said, his voice low and menacing. Dad, I'm trying to be nice here. Just tell the bank and title company you made a mistake. Tell them you authorized everything. And if I don't, Tyler stepped closer, looming over me like he'd done as a teenager when he was angry. Then you'll find out how difficult your life can become. We have lawyers too. We'll tie you up in court for years. We'll drain whatever money you have left. For a moment, I felt genuine fear. Not of their threats, I had evidence on my side, but of what my son had become. This angry, threatening man was a stranger, but I hadn't survived 20 years in the Navy by backing down from bullies. Get out of my house, I said, my voice like steel. Both of you, now Dad, you have 5 seconds. 1, 2, they left, Brittany cursing under her breath. Tyler's face twisted with rage. As their car pulled away, I sat down heavily, hands shaking slightly. The mask was completely off now. I knew exactly who I was dealing with. I called Logan Anderson, filed a police report, press full charges. I want them prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Are you absolutely certain? Completely. The next week moved like a well-coordinated military operation. Detective Mason Torres took my statement on November 2nd at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. The interview room was stark, fluorescent lights, metal table, 2 chairs. He was thorough, professional, and increasingly disturbed by what he heard. Mr. Phillips, I've seen a lot of elder financial abuse cases. This is one of the most calculated I've encountered. Your son didn't just steal from you, he planned this for months. First National provided their findings on November 4th. The power of attorney documents showed multiple irregularities. The notary seal belonged to Rebecca Walsh, whose license had expired July 30th, 2024. Rebecca Walsh was in Miami on September 22nd. Her credit card records proved it. My signature appeared shaky, inconsistent with my normal handwriting. The documents were dated September 22nd, but weren't filed with the bank until September 26th. William Bradford, CEO of Pinnacle Title Company, called November 5th. Mr. Phillips, I owe you an apology. We failed to catch these irregularities during our review process. We've frozen all proceeds from the sale, minus $285,000. Your son won't see a penny. What about the buyers? The Johnson family. They're devastated. They're suing your son for fraud, breach of contract, and emotional distress. They put their life savings into that down payment. Guilt twisted in my stomach. Can you give me their contact information? I'd like to speak with them. That afternoon, I called Lisa Johnson. She answered, her voice cautious. Mr. Phillips, Mrs. Johnson, I'm so deeply sorry. I had no idea my son would do this. Your family is innocent in all of this. Lisa's voice cracked. We have 2 children, Mr. Phillips. We saved for 8 years to buy that house. We thought we finally had our dream home. I promise you this, your lease will be honored. The Martinez family will move out when their lease ends in July 2026. After that, if you still want the house, I'll sell it to you at the exact price you paid, $285,000. Silence, then soft crying. Thank you. Thank you so much. November 8th, 2024, I was at Home Depot helping a customer calculate flooring when my phone chimed. An email from an unknown address, truthteller2024@protonmail.com. Subject line, you should know the truth about Tyler. My hands trembled as I opened it. Mr. Phillips, I'm writing anonymously because I'm afraid of retaliation, but you deserve to know. Tyler has a 7-year-old son named Dustin Phillips. The mother is Paige Richardson. They dated for 2 years after college. Paige got pregnant. Tyler told her to get an abortion. When she refused, he abandoned her. Paige sued for child support 3 years ago. The court ordered Tyler to pay $1,200 per month plus $45,000 in back support. Tyler has been secretly using your money to pay this debt. Brittany doesn't know about Dustin. Your grandson deserves better. So do you, a concerned friend. I stood frozen in aisle 7, surrounded by laminate samples while my son's secret exploded in my hands. I had a grandson. I searched Facebook on my phone with shaking fingers. Paige Richardson, Columbus, Ohio. Her profile was partially public. The most recent photo posted 2 days ago. A little boy with dark hair and Tyler's exact nose wearing a Buckeyes jersey holding a football. The caption read, Dustin's first touchdown in flag football. So proud of my little man, even if his father refuses to acknowledge he exists. I felt my knees weaken. A customer asked if I was okay. I nodded, unable to speak. November 10th, I drove to Columbus with Brooke. Paige Richardson lived in a modest apartment complex on Richardson Avenue, Unit 3B. I knocked at 2 p.m. as we'd arranged by phone. Paige opened the door, 31 years old, tired eyes, kind face. Mr. Phillips, please come in. The apartment was small but clean. Children's drawings covered the refrigerator. A bookshelf held worn copies of Dr. Seuss and beginning readers. Thank you for agreeing to see me, I said. I had no idea Tyler had a son. I never wanted to destroy Tyler's life, Paige said quietly. I just wanted help raising Dustin. He asks about his father every single day. Where is he now? After school program. He'll be home at 4:30. Paige poured coffee with shaking hands. Mr. Phillips, I need you to know I loved Tyler once. He was charming, ambitious, seemed responsible. When I got pregnant, he changed overnight. Said I was ruining his life, offered me $15,000 to take care of it. I'm so sorry when I kept Dustin, Tyler disappeared, changed his number, moved apartments so I couldn't find him. I struggled alone for 4 years before I finally got a lawyer and sued for support. The $45,000, 4 years of back support plus legal fees. The court ordered it. Tyler paid $20,000 last year. I think that's when he started stealing from you. Then 2 months ago, he paid the remaining $25,000. I thought maybe he'd finally grown up. She laughed bitterly. I had no idea he was using his father's money. At 40:45, we heard small footsteps on the stairs. The door burst open. Mom, I'm home. Dustin Phillips was beautiful. Dark brown hair like Paige's, but Tyler's brown eyes. Tyler's stubborn chin, my late father's nose. He wore a Superman backpack and grass-stained jeans. He stopped when he saw strangers in their living room. Who are they? Paige knelt down. Dustin, this is Mr. Phillips. He's your grandfather. Your daddy's father. Dustin's eyes went wide. My daddy's daddy. I couldn't speak. I just nodded. Dustin walked over cautiously. Mom says my daddy lives far away. Do you know where he is? Yes, son. I know where he is. Does he? Does he think about me sometimes? My heart shattered into pieces. I think he thinks about you all the time. He's made some mistakes. Grown-up mistakes. Dustin studied my face with serious 7-year-old eyes. Mom says everyone makes mistakes. She says the important thing is saying sorry and trying to be better. Your mother is very wise. Dustin suddenly smiled. Tyler's smile, and my heart broke all over again. Do you want to see my football? I scored a touchdown. November 15th, 2024. Preliminary hearing at Franklin County Courthouse. Tyler appeared with his attorney, Clayton Murphy, an expensive defense lawyer. I arrived with Logan Anderson. Detective Torres was there. Paige Richardson sat in the back row. Dustin at his grandmother's house for the day. Tyler looked terrible. Dark circles, wrinkled suit, hands shaking. When our eyes met, I saw genuine fear. Judge Morgan Stevens, 59, presided. She reviewed the evidence Logan presented. Bank records, fraudulent documents, title company findings, detective's report. Mr. Phillips, Judge Stevens said, the evidence here is overwhelming. The prosecution is prepared to file formal charges of grand theft, fraud, and forgery. Do you understand the seriousness of these allegations? Yes, Your Honor, Tyler whispered. Before we proceed, does anyone wish to make a statement? I stood, Your Honor, may I speak? Proceed, Mr. Phillips. I looked directly at Tyler. Tyler, before this goes further, tell me about Dustin. Tyler's face went white. Brittany, sitting behind him, looked confused. Dustin?
Who's Dustin?
Tyler, I said quietly, tell them about your son. The courtroom went silent. Tyler's attorney leaned over, whispering urgently. Tyler shook his head, tears suddenly streaming down his face. Your Honor, Tyler said, his voice breaking, I need to make a statement. Judge Stevens looked surprised. Go ahead, Mr. Phillips. Tyler stood shaking. I have a 7-year-old son named Dustin Phillips. His mother is Paige Richardson. I abandoned them when Paige was pregnant. I pretended he didn't exist because I was ashamed, because Brittany's family is wealthy and wouldn't accept a man with a secret child. Brittany gasped behind him. What, you have a child? 3 years ago, Paige sued me for child support. The court ordered me to pay $45,000 in back support. I didn't have it. I panicked. He turned to me, tears flowing freely. Dad, I needed that money to pay Paige off, to hide my mistakes. So I took yours. Everyone heard what he said. I stole from my father to cover up the fact that I abandoned my son. I'm a coward. I'm a thief. I don't deserve mercy. He looked at Brittany, who was staring at him with horror. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve family. He collapsed back into his chair, sobbing. Brittany stood abruptly. I can't do this. She walked out of the courtroom, her heels clicking on marble. Judge Stevens studied Tyler for a long moment. Mr. Phillips, I appreciate your honesty, however belated. We'll recess for 30 minutes. I suggest you use that time to speak with your attorney about your options. As the courtroom emptied, I walked over to Tyler. He looked up at me, face wet with tears. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough, Tyler, I said quietly. Sorry is just words. You need to become the man your son deserves, the man your mother and I raised you to be. How? How do I fix this? You start by facing the consequences of your choices. All of them, December 10th, 2024, Franklin County Courthouse, final sentencing. The courtroom was packed. Tyler sat with his attorney. Logan sat beside me. In the back row, Paige Richardson held Dustin's hand. Brooke, Carlos, and Maria Martinez, Lisa, and Steve Johnson, all there to witness justice. Judge Stevens looked stern. Tyler Allen Phillips, you are hereby sentenced to 18 months in Franklin County Jail, followed by 5 years supervised probation. You will make full restitution to your father, a $78,000 plus interest, to be paid over 8 years. You will establish a legal custody arrangement with Paige Richardson and attend mandatory counseling. Tyler collapsed into his chair, sobbing with relief. 18 months, not 5 years, county jail, not state prison, a chance. Mr. Phillips, Judge Stevens said, "I'm giving you an opportunity your mother never got, a second chance at life. Don't waste it." 1 year later, I stood in my garden at 856 Maple Drive, planting roses with small hands helping me. It was a Saturday morning, warm and bright. "Grandpa Garrett," Dustin said, his voice serious with 8-year-old concentration. "Do you think these will grow big?" I held him steady as he patted soil around a new bush. "With proper care and attention, they'll grow beautiful, son." Tyler appeared, looking different, thinner, older, but healthier somehow. Clear-eyed in a way he'd never been before. He'd been out of jail for 4 months, working as a bookkeeper, rebuilding his life one day at a time. "Dad, Dustin." Tyler walked over slowly. He knelt beside us in the dirt. "How are my favorite gardeners?" Dustin threw himself into his father's arms. "Daddy, look, we're planting roses for Grandma Linda." Tyler looked at me over Dustin's head, tears in his eyes. "Thank you, Dad, for not giving up on us." "I didn't give up on you, Tyler. I gave up on enabling you. There's a difference." Later, I sat on my porch with Brooke, watching the sunset paint my neighborhood in shades of gold. "Any regrets?" Brooke asked. I thought about everything, the betrayal, the pain, the long road to this fragile peace. No. I chose justice over vengeance. I chose accountability over enabling, and I got my grandson back because of it. Thanksgiving Day, my kitchen was full of voices and laughter. Carlos and Maria Martinez. Lisa and Steve Johnson. They'd bought the house in July just as I'd promised, Brooke and her husband. Logan Anderson, Paige Richardson, and Dustin. Tyler sober for 8 months, setting the table. Before dinner, I stood at the head of the table. I'm 59 years old. 18 months ago, I thought I'd lost everything. But what I actually lost was my illusions. I learned that love without boundaries isn't love. It's enabling. I learned that family doesn't mean accepting abuse. And I learned that the greatest victory isn't revenge. It's redemption. I looked around the table. My late wife Linda used to say that the measure of a man isn't what he accumulates, but what he gives and who he saves. Today, I hope I helped save my son from himself. And in doing so, I saved the most precious thing, my relationship with my grandson. Dustin grinned at me. "To Grandpa Garrett," he shouted, raising his juice cup. Everyone raised their glasses to Garrett. Later, after everyone left, I sat alone in my garden. My phone buzzed. A message from Tyler. "Thank you for saving me from myself, Dad. I love you." I typed back, "I love you too, son. See you tomorrow." I looked up at the stars, thinking of Linda, wondering if she could see what her husband's tough love had created. "I did my best, Linda," I whispered to the night sky. "With everything you left me, the strength, the values, the love, I did my best." The stars didn't answer, but somewhere deep inside I felt peace. Because at 59 years old, I'd learned the most important lesson of all. Real love means holding people accountable. Real family means honoring truth above comfort. And real victory isn't destroying your enemies, it's saving them from themselves even when they don't deserve it. That's what good fathers do. And maybe, just maybe, that's what this retired Navy veteran had finally learned to do as well.